Hi everybody, today is Friday, February 5th, and I got a couple things I just want to share with you guys, and yeah, let's get into it. So, I've been thinking about this channel, and I have a blast doing these videos. Like, it blows my mind that this is something that I do with my time now, but ultimately I want them to not just be like, oh, this is fun. Like, I hope that these videos help people. Like, it's easy to just sit and talk to a laptop, but I have to stand before God one day for how I use my time, and I don't want this to just be like any other hobby. Not that hobbies are bad, but I want this to have some purpose beyond just I enjoy doing it, you know? So that puts a heavier premium on the type of content that I put out. So those kind of wheels have been stirring lately, and then even like just the accountability, right? Like, there are videos that I put out, there's value to transparency and authenticity, but at the end of the day, I can't revel in my own sadness or revel in self-pity to the point that I don't offer hope to other people. I started out saying, you know, that I want to present an example of what it means to be a Christian, like a true example of what it is to be someone who loves God, is imperfect, like clearly imperfect, but is striving to grow and learn and be like full out the woman that God created me to be and set this world ablaze just with God's goodness and his love. That's my goal. That's my personal goal, and my goal for this channel is to present that to you, you know, so that people can see, so that Christians who feel like they've accepted this mundane way of living can see like God has more in store. And then for non-believers who think that Christianity is like this list of do's and don'ts and rules, and that it's strict and that it's just a joyless life, can get some illumination. I think I mentioned before, I was talking to this guy online who was like, I don't want to follow this out there God. And I've met many people who think this way, who think like, you know, God is this cruel being, or just these really negative views of God. And I'm like, I get why you don't follow him, because you think of him that way. One of the things that some people don't like to talk about is submission in specifically in marital relationships, right, between a man and a woman. There's a difference between submitting to a godly man who is walking in his proper authority, position, and obedience and reverence of his role in God, of his place in the home, of his responsibility towards his spouse and his children, towards the larger community, towards the church, and submitting to a man who doesn't know who he is, or wants to do his own thing, or doesn't care about God, or is lacks integrity or lacks character, or whatever, you know, like I understand more why women have such a poor view of submission when they think about a man who maybe was abusive or whatever, right? Like, but I think we take that same, and I'm being general with the we, but we take that same approach. Like, God is an abusive spouse, and so we don't want to submit ourselves, but he's not, you know? And I think a lot of people have this poor view of God, and so they don't want to be associated with him, but and that's our fault, honestly, as believers. A big part of that is our fault, because we misrepresent him. So, all that to say, I want to be sure in my personal life and in this channel that I'm not misrepresenting Christ. I hope people watch all the videos, because we're going on a journey here. I think I've said that before. I invited you onto this journey with me. I will not get it all right. I will not, because I'm not a perfect person. But I will be honest and present an example that is worthy of who God is. A couple of things I've been thinking about talking about next: budgeting. I am believing God that I'll be debt free at the end of this year, and I'm going to be more vocal about that process, and then about kind of what I'm doing, steps I'm taking, and the very strict budget I'll be living on for the foreseeable future. I think I mentioned before that, like ice cream and like movies, sometimes I use buying things to cheer me up, and that's not good for a couple reasons. One, because I become dependent on this other thing, this external thing, which becomes an idol, and I use it for comfort instead of God, and he's the comforter. And then also because I can't be spending up money, you know, like, we're not there yet, you know. So I've been more intentional about that, but I want to share some of that journey with you guys and some things I'm learning. I'd love to have some guests come on and talk with us about some things. So I'm going to reach out to some of my friends who I know deal with finances and may have some things to share with you. Yeah, just sharing from my own experiences, being as candid as possible. So yeah, we'll talk more about that, more about budgeting and financial freedom, and talk a little bit about writing. My relationship with writing is it's been so interesting to see over the years, like, this dance that we've done together, me and the written word. So, in any case, a couple things that are coming. So if there are any things that you would like to talk about or hear discussed on this channel, let me know. You can send a comment, or you can find me on Instagram and just send me a DM. Let me know, hey, I'd like to talk about this, or I'd like to hear you share your experiences with this. And I think at one point we talked about, like, talking about race, both in the church, but then also just in general. And then some other things that I just like natural hair care and veganism or vegetarianism or pescatarianism. So yeah, a couple things that I'm gonna just get back into a flow of, like, specific, maybe series of things. So anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for the encouragement. I appreciate you guys. And we'll see you next time. Bye.